Hey everybody, welcome back. It's been a hot minute here. My apologies. It's been a relatively busy winter between, Christmas, and then we had some illnesses, and my wife and I went on a company trip back in January. So, I just wanted to touch on this real quick here before we get into this video. I just first of all want to apologize. Two reasons. One of them was, this was so delayed. November firearm was back in November. But the other thing here is that when I went to originally edit this video, I downloaded everything off my SD card like normal, and I got to looking at it, and my SD card got corrupt, and I lost over half of my footage for November firearm. I was very, very disheartened at this. I kind of had a rough November firearm anyways, but I did have some legit decent footage on here of deer, and I lost it. So this video is going to be, it is what it is. I'm sorry. I'm going to get some new SD cards, and this also affected me on my farming channel too. I lost the last 2 days of harvest on it, but I'll get into that on that channel. So I apologize. Like I said, I was very disheartened at this, but it is what it is, technical difficulties. So anyways, let's get into the video here. It is what it is, but I want to thank everybody for watching. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button, and everybody, if you would, give me a thumbs up. That would be much appreciated too. So let's get into the video here, and we will catch you guys around on the next one. Well, it's definitely colder out now than it was. We got sat down this morning. The wind has really picked up. They said it would. It's straight out of the west at probably 15. You can't see it from here, but there's two bald eagles sitting in a tree over there. They were just flying overhead. So a lot of activity out here in the field this morning. I did hear a buck grunt and possibly chasing a doe around. I saw something with its head down chasing a doe. It's probably a good sign that it was a buck. I grunted. I didn't figure I'd get a response, but I think this afternoon I'm going to set up a ground blind to the north over here. See what we can do. I saw my dad get out. He walked out here a little bit ago. Oh, never mind. I see him down there. So we're going to go catch up with him and let's get some coffee. Morning of day 2. We kind of switched. switched things up here this morning. I'm hunting a ground blind overlooking the cornfield, the cut cornfield, because this is all the only place I saw activity at all yesterday. Dad took the pen house, so he's up in the tall stand. Let's see what happens. Afternoon, day 2. It's official. I have been evicted from my tree stand. My dad has taken it over. He said, "You wanted the ground blind? You're taking it." Thanks. Had a little bit of activity this morning, which you probably just saw. Never seen does spar like that before. Actually, I wouldn't even say it was sparring. I mean, that one doe was flat out working that one doe over. And then out of the corner of my eye, I was, I guess, too busy watching them. Then that Gomer buck come running through. Sun was in my eyes, and I didn't even have a chance to get my rifle up before he took off after them does, which Dad agreed he needs to go. We can't have genetics like that down here. So first person that sees him gets to cull him. So see what this afternoon brings. I can't also remember if I told you or not. In that case, if I did, I'll just delete this clip. It's hot out here. I'm sitting in a little oven. It's 70 degrees out here. That's hot for deer hunting. So the thing about sitting on this cornfield is it usually doesn't get active till about 4:30, about a half hour before sunset. It's not even 4 o'clock yet. This is more of a morning thing. Because they usually come out right after sun up. Like, I was out here in the dark and you could see them creeping out of the timber right at when there was just enough light. It was probably just right at legal shooting time. So then they hung around for noises till about 20 minutes before we crawled out. So I mean, they hang around for a couple hours this morning, so we won't get that lucky this evening. If we're lucky, we'll get to watch them. Like last night, I watched them for I was sitting in the tree stand, and I'd been watching back and forth between the field and in the timber. I know at 5 o'clock I didn't see anything, and I crawled out at 20 after, and there was does in the field here, and I had to sneak out. Then they caught me, but they didn't hightail it out, so they weren't like spooked. I have a feeling those does know me pretty well, so
Okay, little update on how the evening went. So, after my last update, things kind of got busy. I had a pretty good sized buck sneaking behind me through the timber. He was in the thicket. I could see him real well, but he was through the brush and I wasn't able to get a shot off. He finally ventured off. And then just a little bit before 5 o'clock, as per typical, the does came out of the east timber and were grazing. This may have been just a little bit before 5, maybe 10 to 5 at the earliest, excuse me. I'm still kind of shaken up here. So about a couple minutes after that big buck came out of the timber clear on the south end where the neighbor still has his corn in. And I watched him, put my binoculars on him, watched him for easily 10 minutes. He kind of nosed around and made his way up to the diagonal path I cut across the cornfield, and he followed that up, just nosing, and then in that time span, a little fork horn, I shouldn't say a little fork horn, he's a little 4x4, or not a little 4-pointer, pretty decent little rack on him, so came out and he was sniffing around that doe, and I was like, surely that big buck is going to, if that doe's starting to show any kind of signs of being an estrus, he was going to come up. Well, he didn't. He just nosed around out there, and started going due west. I grunted at him a couple times and stopped. Looked right at me. I had my binoculars on him and watched him. So I was like, oh, he's definitely a taker buck. So got myself positioned, and my pickup just happened to be exactly on the south end of that field, about where that buck was, so I had to let him walk a little bit past where my pickup was, and perfect shot. I mean, you couldn't ask for a clearer shot. I meeped at him. He stopped, looked at me, and I cranked one right into him. He jumped and he cringed, and Dad had been watching the same buck from the pen house, and Dad saw the whole thing, and he said no, he jumped and he cringed and he hauled ass straight west into the timber, and it was probably a 100-yard shot. Beautiful shot though, perfect. I mean, the only thing is I wasn't real sure on shot placement. I thought I got him, just a little bit behind the shoulder, because he kind of did the typical, and Dad's like, no, I think you got him just a little bit back. So I don't know if I got him through the liver or gut shot him, but that was right at 5. So Dad and I looked for almost an hour into the dark, and I'm not even 100% sure where he ran into the timber yet. I couldn't find a blood trail, because I'm not sure exactly where he was. I had no landmark to judge where he was, so I could start looking for blood. So Dad's confident that he's going to be dead, but we're going to go out in the morning and look for him in the daylight. But it's just, a hunter's worst nightmare here, and it's not, you don't want to, wound an animal, and you don't want to lose an animal if you did get it. But the other thing that's got me sick to my stomach is what if the coyotes, if I did get him and he's down and we just didn't see him? That's usually what happens. And what if the coyotes get to him before me? I mean, I'll still do the right thing and tag him, but I don't know. I guess we'll find out in the morning. So I know this has happened to my dad, and he says he's shot deer before and lost them, never found them, and he says he's shot deer and right at dark like that before and found them the next morning, and it's supposed to get down to 32 tonight. So I think as far as that goes, I think the meat will be okay, as long as hopefully maybe I didn't, get him in the guts. So we'll find out in the morning. We'll keep you posted tomorrow. So